Hey, everybody. I'm sitting here with Brian Yampolsky. Yeah, from Orion Mortgage in Phoenix, Arizona.
Correct.
And we are going to do some stuff on asking for referrals, right?
We are going to do that. Yeah.
Some stuff.
We're going
to do
that.
some stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So you said to me right before we went live, that you had an idea. What was that idea?
Well, when you ask, first of all, this is a great topic.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's kind of one of those things that nobody wants to talk about, that they're not quite sure how they do it, so they don't do it. And then when you asked me, how do you ask for referrals? That's the best question to ask any of us that are in the business, because it's the most important. But I actually realized I have 3 different ways. And I think it is it's important to know that, like, you have to know your audience.
Yes.
You have to read the room. You have to, like, just because what I say to my clients might not be something I would say to a business owner or a real estate agent or what have you. So I kind of have 3 different go-tos to ask for referrals.
I love that. And this is really good for us to all take on board, is the fact that, Brian, as a lender, you have many different types of clients. You have realtors that you're trying to work with to send referrals to you.
Right.
And they should all know how to ask for a referral.
Right.
And then you're also working directly with the consumer when you're meeting them at mixer events. And you also do a really cool giving program. What's the name of that?
Yeah, it's called the Giving Group AZ. And we can talk about that later, because it's
okay, good.
Different.
It's a big deal.
But yeah, clients, realtors, and then also other business owners, like, financial planners and CPAs and insurance people and things like that. So would you like to hear how they differ?
I would love to hear that.
Okay. So the first one that I made a note on is clients, because clients are, I don't know, they're where it begins and where it ends, I think. So when I'm talking to a client, the easiest way for me to ask for a referral is to ask them, I ask them how they're doing. And it's a very baseline, fundamental question. But then I'll ask them how their business is going. Like, whatever they're doing for work, whatever they do for a profession, I'll ask them how their business is going, because there's always something unique to talk about regarding business.
Yes.
COVID's affected it. Recession stuff's affected it. So usually they're a little more talkative about business. And as soon as if they're not talkative about it, I'll just ask them, has their business been affected by the economy lately? And that's where people will start to say either, yeah, here's my experience, or no, but here's my other experience. And then I use that as a springboard to kind of get into, my business. So if I ask you, has your business been affected at all by the economy? And you say, yeah, it's been a little wonky and it's been a little challenging in this way and that way. I walk right through the door that they open, and I say, yeah, you know what? In my business, it's been a little bit more challenging this year than the last 2 years. And I'll explain to them why. And then I'll say, so, as challenging as it is, I just need to keep reminding my clients like you that if you have any friends or family who could use a good mortgage broker, don't forget about me.
That's so good. And what I love about that is it's so incredibly relational, which is how I love to run my business. And obviously you do too, because there are people that just, I see these YouTube videos and on Instagram and Facebook, and they're like, hey, I'm so-and-so and I'm looking for your business. And it's all one way.
You know what? That's a really good point. And I think that whatever way you do it, it has to be true to you. And I'm not real good at salesy. I can do fine at having a conversation with someone. So that's how I do it with my clients. And then if let's say the person that I'm talking to is not employed, let's say they're retired, or their spouse works and they stay at home, or what have you. So then I kind of tweak it a little bit, and I'll just, same thing. I'll start in a conversation, and then I'll tell them that, well, my business is pretty good. Things are going fine. I've noticed that a lot of my clients, after I'm done working with them, like after I've closed on their mortgage, they need a lot of other kinds of things. They need help in a lot of other areas. Like they either need a pool guy to clean the pool, or they need a financial planner to help them, plan for their kids' college, or they need to set up a trust because they bought the house and they have 3 kids and they want to make sure it's set up correctly. So, I'll just go right into, the next time either you or one of your friends needs one of those types of services, I know a lot of really good people, and I would love to connect you to some of the good ones. And so that kind of gets me, it's not asking for a referral for me, but it's kind of like the giver's gain mentality. If I give enough, then it'll come back to me. So that's the second
100%.
Yeah.
100% agree with you. That's a great one, by the way.
Thank you. And then the third and last way that I'll ask is either mostly for realtors like my A+ and A realtors, but also some business owners. Same kind of beginning where I'll say, how's business? Are things slow? Are things busy? Like what's going on with you? And they'll tell me. And then regardless of their answer, I'll just remind them what I think is always true. It's always constant. And that is, it's important to be consistent. It's important to stay active and do our lead generation. And so that's what I'm doing. Like even right now, I'm calling you and I'm talking to you about your business and seeing what's going on. But it's also a reminder that if you know someone who could use a good mortgage broker, that, you wouldn't forget about me. So
I love that.
I think it's just, if you're conversational like you and I are, you just have to figure out, all right, what's the Trojan horse? What are you going to converse about, and then have it come right back into if you know someone. And it doesn't have to be cliche, and it doesn't have to be like, Buffini talks about, oh, by the way, it doesn't even have to be scripted. It just has to be whatever fits your style. So,
yes, I love this. And it reminds me that the more you listen, the more you learn. And I think that's in alignment with your Trojan horse comment, because once you find out what that human needs, wants, or where their headspace is, it's really easy for us as givers, like you said, to give them what they need. And the reciprocation that happens is so beautiful. But if you're not talking to people, which I think is part of the problem, we've all been in this business through a super busy time, and we're a little burned out, a little. And so we're just kind of coming back on track. But this is the most beautiful time to be talking to your clients. It's fourth quarter. There's a ton of things to talk about, and there's a ton of great information to give, and in the same time, ask for referrals. So I love your 3. They're great.
Well, thank you. Those are my 3. I was also reminded by, do you know Adam Coe in Chandler, Arizona?
I don't.
He's a Buffini agent. He's been in it a long time, and he and I have been friends for a long time. And he shared something with me about a week ago, which is kind of, fresh in my mind. And he said that he was at a different conference where they talked about, they gave the example that, you're trying to connect with your database of clients. And your clients, any one of your clients probably knows a dozen real estate agents. And how are you going to be the one that they're going to call? Well, they suggested that you have to just be in the flow with your people, your clients, which means you just have to have conversations. You just have to get to know them. You just have to spend some time getting to know them. And if you get to know them and kind of get into that flow with them, you don't have to necessarily sell yourself over the other 11 licensed agents that they know, because they're not going to be able to have, really deep relationships with 12 different agents. So his lesson to me was, it really doesn't matter, how you say it or what you say. It's that you get into the conversations with them and you're present with them. And then when you're done doing that, people are going to look at you as, they're going to keep you more on the forefront of their minds more than the rest of the people that are just, texting or emailing them.
That is correct. We're in a relationship building business,
right?
Which is lovely. And you're right. Everybody knows a realtor.
Yeah.
Everybody knows a realtor and a lender, probably.
I used to think the same about mortgage brokers, but in this market, there are so many that are getting out of it that
yes,
we're going to have a competitive advantage just because we're going to survive. And then, this market is temporary. So when it gets busy again, we'll be ready.
Absolutely. So in wrapping it up, can you tell me what areas you serve for loans so that people that are listening, tell us a little bit about that.
It's a good question because for realtors, you don't, like if you lived in Arizona, you wouldn't serve the whole state of Arizona.
Correct.
You're in California, you don't serve the whole state of California. But the mortgage brokers, if they're licensed in the state of, like I'm licensed in the state of Arizona, I can work anywhere in Arizona.
Love that.
Really, whether it's Phoenix or Scottsdale or Tempe or Chandler or Mesa or Gilbert or, it goes on and on and on, Tucson, Flagstaff.
Right.
We can do loans anywhere in the state of Arizona. And I'm actually in the process of getting licensed in Colorado. I think that'll be done next week.
Fantastic. Okay. So Arizona, Colorado next week. By the time this podcast hits, you're going to be in Colorado as well.
Yep.
And we will have Brian's information, his company information, and everything in the notes so that if you have any questions, you can reach out. And if you're a realtor and want to understand investing or anything in Arizona, Brian's a great guy to call. So thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Jefi. Appreciate it.
All right.
Good job.
Appreciate you. All right, everybody. Thanks.